The Arctic Foxy Minnow. First, get a hook. Here, Dairiki 930 size 4. You can mash the barb with if you want. Place the hook firmly in the jaws of your vise. Now load a bobbin with 8/0 Vivus and light Cahill. Start your thread just behind the eye and wrap back. Once secure, cut the tag end off. And create a thread base right at the point, right up to the point. Now get a small pair of dumbbell eyes. Your thread should be positioned at the 1/3 point behind the eye. On top of the hook shank, go ahead and secure the eyes with crisscross wraps, figure 8ing above, below, and around the shank. While tying, make sure the eyes are aligned perfectly so that the hook point rides up correctly. Then make a couple wraps above the hook shank but below the eyes to secure those eyes and thread wraps firmly. Now go to some Arctic foxtail. Go to the butt of the tail and get a clump about 1/4 of a pencil in width and cut it free, right at the base. Now strip out all the under fur. You're left with just guard hairs. Now go back to your hook. With your thread in front of the dumbbell eyes, but behind the hook eye, go ahead and measure a tail piece that extends past the hook bend about 2 hooks in length. And then tie in by the butts, first cutting at an incline, and tie those butts right below the hook eye, on top of the hook. Once secure, get your thread to behind the dumbbell eyes. Pull the hair over the dumbbell eyes and start making touching wraps down the hook shank towards the point of the hook, keeping the hair on top of the hook shank. Now go to some gold braid. Get a section about 5 inches. And clip it free. Bring your thread right behind the dumbbell eyes and tie the gold braid on top of the hook and wrap back down to the point. Then touching wraps. Then bring your thread up and jump it to just behind the eye but in front of the dumbbell eye. And now make touching wraps of gold braid up the body of the fly. And then when you reach behind the dumbbell eyes, go ahead and jump it over on the bottom side of the hook shank and tie it off in front of the dumbbell eyes. And then go ahead, once secure, cut the rest of the gold braid off. Now go to some gold crystal flash. Cut 2 pieces off. And you can secure them in hackle pliers for easy maneuvering. Now bring them up to your hook and fold them over the hook, over the thread. Now bring them on top and make sure that 2 strands are on either side of the hook. And with thread, push those back so they're now pointing railward towards the bend of the hook. Now go to some brown flashabou. Get about 5 or so pieces and cut them free. Now do the same thing as you did with the crystal flash. This stuff has the tendency to jump around because it's really limp, but it's okay if you trap anything or some of it gets like curled up like so, because in the water it will all be pushed back when you strip the fly. Now go back to the Arctic foxtail. This time, cut a clump That's about 2 times the size of the previous clump. Cut it right at the base. Now bring that clump, make sure it's aligned with the other tips of the other tail. Push all the flesh back to not get in your way. And to make it easier, kind of push it back under the point of the hook. And instead of just cutting it this time, go ahead and take some thread wraps. This will make tie-in easier. But again, keeping it now on the bottom of the shank, but since it's inverted, it's top. Now go ahead and cut it at an angle. And cut the rest. And then with your thread, go ahead and make a nice cone head. And then once all the hair is covered, go ahead and finish your thread. Pull all the flash back. And with scissors, cut it just longer than the hair tips. And that's it, that's the fly.